This episode of Noise of the Broke Boys is brought to you by Free Time. Are there moments in your life? Has there ever been a time? No, those are not questions I forgot to finish. They are legit inquisitions I have for all my listeners. Free time is something that is often overlooked in our lives, but the sum of all our short moments in life happen to add up to many wasted hours per day. In that time, consider how many bread-making cookbooks you could have read, or how many shake weights you could have, shook. Next time you have a spare second, consider using it in a more/less constructive way by turning on the Noise of the Broke Boys podcast and dropping us a like. Thanks for your continued support. And now, on to the show. In this episode, the creator of Stance Elements, an online movement arts platform, sits down to discuss the history of its creation. We discuss various topics related to digital media, marketing, videography, hip-hop, and entrepreneurship. I had a great time picking his brain about a side of breaking and social media that I don't know much about. Please enjoy the episode with Mr. Daniel Zhu. Hello, welcome everybody to the slow, subtle collapse of society in podcast form. This is Noise of the Broke Boys. I am your host, Kurt the Hurt, and today I have a special guest. His name is Daniel Zhu. He is Mr. Stance, the creator of Stance, the CEO of Stance. I don't know, what is your title? Grand Wizard of
Grand Wizard. Just to call me a creator of Stance.
He's the creator. Yeah. So Stance is, I consider it like an urban arts like media platform, but what do you call it?
We call it a movement arts platform.
Movement arts platform. Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
So that basically is saying like, I guess you guys do dance, you guys film tricking, you guys do...
anything your body in some way can move and then in an artistic format. Okay. So it's not just dance, it's really...
Movement arts.
Yeah.
I guess that is the best name for it.
We kind of made it that way because we wanted to just, not back ourselves in a corner with one topic.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And so the first time I think I saw Stance was... it was on your YouTube channel, and I don't know if that's where you guys started, but I think that's when I first saw it, and you guys were posting a lot of footage from Bboy battles and stuff, and now you've kind of grown to this social media platform, and then filming all these other different events, and now it's like I see like literally every large dance event you guys are there, and it's like I don't watch footage too often, but when I do, I immediately go to YouTube, type in Stance, and then look at that. Look at what you guys have. So I would say that, seems to me like you probably have the biggest or at least the most successful media platform in this space, which I'm curious, like, how that makes you feel, like what, and the journey to get there. It just seems so crazy.
It's a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
It's I can say. It's, you start something small and now it's just, you have a lot of momentum, and then, it feels weird. Like you go a couple of days without posting anything. People are like, so what's going on?
Yeah. And so you just kind of ride that and keep going and going.
Yeah.
And then eventually you get to where you are, where I think now is it your Facebook? Like, I don't know, but I think between all your platforms, you've got like over 1 million kind of subscribers or whatever.
Yeah, a couple million. Yeah,
a couple million. Wow, that's great. So, I mean, that's crazy to think that came from breaking, and now it's to where you are now. It's just crazy because, when I started breaking, this was like events were barely a thing. You won an event, and they were like, "Here's some gas money and stuff," and like it was the ghettoest shit ever. And so to see it now to where you guys, there's a legitimate media company out there that is traveling the world, filming all these huge events. There's sponsors involved with the events and stuff. It's just crazy to see that in my lifetime I was able to see that. I mean, it's really a short time in a way. I mean, I've been breaking less than 20 years, probably 18, 19 years. So to see it happen within that span, it's like crazy. It feels like we were in the Stone Age compared to now. And so like, I don't know. It's just when I look at stance, it's like, it makes me proud as a B-boy to see that we've gone so far to be like a legitimate, I don't know what you would call us, but but more than just some people rolling around on the floor.
A legitimate movement.
It's a legitimate movement. Yeah. I mean, at least it's being recognized as that now.
Yeah.
I think all of us always considered it a legitimate form, but your parents are like, what the hell are you guys doing rolling on the floor and shit?
Yeah. And that's our biggest, I think every time we create something major or stance or something like that, we always think about people like our parents, people that don't understand the dance, and we're like, okay, how can we reach these kind of people?
Yeah,
because there's more of those kind of people than there are dancers.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so we're like, okay, the more non-dance people or non-people associated with the scene that get addicted to this, the more momentum we get. Yeah,
and I do think that is gonna play a huge part in the later success of this culture. As more people get involved with it, see it, fall in love with it, and continue to follow it, and hopefully participate in it. Not that they have to, but I think right now the participation rate is from mostly dancers, but I think we're going to start seeing participation from the viewers now, legitimate fans and stuff. Like I kind of compare it to like skateboarding or something, where you'll watch it on TV on like the X Games, and you're like, dude, this stuff is crazy.
Skateboarding, MMA,
yeah, exactly.
Anything like there's a big boxing fight this weekend. I mean, everyone online is talking about, but who the hell really boxes? Much, but they're all fans.
Yeah. I mean, it's like. Yeah, a lot of the fans, they'll take a boxing class or whatever, but they're not like some freaking hardcore in the gym boxing everybody, but it's like...
But they're talking about it.
In a way, it's like it's a casual fan, and casual not in the sense of that they don't know what's going on in the sport, but casual in the sense that they're not in the ring punching each other and shit. Yeah. So, I think we're going to see a lot more of that in breaking, and I do think that you guys are kind of a hinge point of making that happen. And I know that there's a few other creators out there that are also doing a similar thing to you guys, but I see you guys as probably the biggest and also the catalyst to, I guess, making what they're doing happen as well. It's like, I really see you guys as the ones that paved the way to make it happen. I don't know if you feel that way, but
I mean, I'm a little. I came from the other channel too, Strife.
That's right, yeah,
and
Strife.
That literally did pave the way.
That's right, yeah. Strife. I guess but you were involved with that, right? And I guess once Strife kind of went wherever it went, you kind of took it to the next level and continued to push it to where it is now. So I don't know. It's just cool to see that now. Changing topics. I'm curious how you actually got involved in the hip hop scene, the dancing, because I know you're from South Dakota, which, like, all I can think of from there is like oil fields and like snow. Is that right? Like, I don't see hip hop as something being out there.
Farms,
yeah.
Pretty much. There wasn't really much hip hop at all.
Yeah. Okay.
But I got into the scene because of college.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you went to college out there, or?
No, I went to college in University of Wisconsin.
Okay. There's probably not a lot of B-boys there either. Actually, I have a friend who's going to school in Wisconsin now. He's in med school, and he says there's not a lot of B-boys. So imagine there's probably more than South Dakota.
There's a lot more than South Dakota. Okay. I mean, Wisconsin, you got the benefit of, you got the Milwaukee scene.
Yeah, that's right.
You got the Chicago scene.
Okay.
They're all within an hour or two drive away.
Oh, okay.
So, when I started, I good friends with like motion disorders.
Yeah, okay.
Brickheads.
Who else was out there?
Chicago Tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So But no, college was, you hear about these like breaking clubs that they have in college, and that's how I started.
That's tight. Yeah, no, I have a lot of friends that did the same thing. I mean, when I went to UC Davis, I was already breaking before then, but like once I got there, one of my friends, he used to do the Warriors games with me actually. He started a club, and I was kind of just a bum, and I was like, I don't want to really be a part of it. I mean, I wanted to be a part of it, but I was like, kind of like, how about you do the work? And I was just like, come and break. But he built the club up, and he did a lot of stuff with it, and like introduced so many people to the dance. And I look back and I'm like, oh man, I wish I could have been more involved with that now and not been so, I guess, selfish. Because back then I was just like, I don't care about this. I just want to break.
Yeah.
But seeing now that there's a lot of guys that started then and kept going, I think is really cool. And that I'm seeing that happen more often now. Is like when people are going to universities, they're like being introduced to a lot of new things, and hip hop is one of them. In fact, now hip hop is kind of being taught in some universities as like a subject.
Yeah, like a curriculum.
Yeah, there's a curriculum. I know a couple people that do that.
I mean, even here in LA, you got, I think UCLA and UC Riverside. Ken Swift is
he's teaching a class.
He teaches.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I know my friend Serge from Beats and Pieces. He teaches out in the Bay Area, a couple schools, I think. And then there's another guy who's, I think, in Chicago area who does it. But yeah, I mean, it's starting to get a lot bigger. I think Why Not does it too.
Yeah, Polsky.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, it just blows my mind to think about like that. Like those guys were the like ones, 20 years ago rolling on the ground, and they were like, oh yeah, that's cool, but it's just rolling on the ground. But now it's like some stuff getting taught in university, so I don't know. It's just cool. It's cool to see that change. We're definitely in a time where, I guess hip hop culture is coming more to the forefront of, I don't know, pop culture, I guess is the best way to say it, right? Before it was such an underground movement, and now it's a university course.
If that was offered nowadays and I was still in school, I would totally take it.
Yeah, I probably would too. Just because it's fun to hear the different viewpoints on this culture, because like I grew up in Sacramento. I know somewhat history of everything, but I know it from the point of view in Sacramento. So going to a university, learning it from maybe someone who's from New York or whatever, and in Ken Swift's case, hearing where he's coming from, it's like hearing all these perspectives. It gives you a better understanding of like what this culture really is.
Yeah.
And I think definitely people who only know hip hop music, coming into a class like that would gain so much stuff, because most of my friends that only know hip hop through music, they don't know anything about like how breaking really helped create that music in a way, and I guess they don't maybe understand how direct that was, in terms of like the only reason a break really exists is because a DJ was like, oh, I want to see that dancer go off. Let me replay this part of the song, and then, oh, let me rap to it. Okay. Oh, now that's hip hop music. Oh, dope. So like that direct connection, I don't think a lot of people understand that. And so I'm happy to see that now that's becoming more of the forefront of the hip hop culture. And so hopefully casual music listeners start, understanding that too. So, but anyways, so from South Dakota to Wisconsin, and then now to LA. Were you in any place between there?
Yeah. Okay. So I was in between college and here in LA. I've been in a bunch of places actually. Been in Washington D.C.
Okay.
Been in West Africa.
Nice.
Peace Corps. Been in Alaska.
Okay.
From Alaska, been to Korea, South Korea. That was
Not North Korea?
Nah, you can't. Not allowed in North Korea. But been to South Korea. That was purely on the fact that I just wanted to experience the dance culture there.
Okay.
I got a job and just went.
Oh, that's man. That's crazy to like to just go, oh man, I'm gonna pick up everything. I'm gonna move to Korea and like just for the dance. That's tight.
Yeah. And then now here and then to Minnesota and then now here in LA. So I've been bebopping quite a bit.
And so where did Stance fit in with that? Or I guess Strife TV and then Stance, where did that fit in? Like, when did that start for you? Like, where were you?
2008, Strife started. And that was all because of my college friends.
Okay.
My friends from college at the University of Wisconsin were like, hey, they recognize the need, right? They were like, there's not an official channel that provides high quality footage.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Yeah.
And they moved here to LA too.
Okay.
And they're the ones with the film background. And so when I was in Korea at that time, and they're like, Dan, you're in Korea. The Korea scene's really big. Can you get a camera and film for us?
Oh.
And I'm like, all right, let's do this.
Wow. So you kind of like fell into the film world, right? So like they just said, here's go get a camera. And then before then, had you ever thought that you would be doing any kind of filming?
No. Well, no, sort of. Prior to being in Korea, I was in Africa and Alaska, and I had a camera and I did like blogs. I had this thing called a live journal way back then.
Okay.
And
like
basically,
a Zanga?
Yeah, basically just showing people my life.
Yeah.
In other countries, and it was fun. So I was thinking, you know what? It's just be like that in video form.
Okay.
Yeah. But I didn't go to video school or anything. My first camera was a flip phone. I had one of those like flip cameras in Korea, and that's where all the Korean Strife footage was coming from.
Are you serious?
I kid you not.
That's funny. Oh man, I remember going to a jam back when like cell phones just started having cameras. And they were like, you can't bring that cell phone in here for the footage or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, no, dude, that's crazy. They're filming. I mean, yeah, that's really like the beginnings of YouTube. I think all the footage on there was like
2008, 2009, around that time. Yeah.
It was like flip
but it was like those big Korean events that you never see.
Yeah.
You had the gamblers, you had the Jinjos, you had the TIPs, you had like old school rivers. Like everyone wanted to watch that stuff.
Yeah.
And that was me.
And so you were the pioneer of putting Korean footage out, I guess.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, I guess there's a couple other guys that were doing it, but that's, I guess, in the YouTube era, that was usually you, huh? So interesting. So then from Strife, when did Stance come about?
So ideally, we wanted Strife to go to where Stance was.
Okay.
But all the rest of my friends just kind of lost interest in filming.
Oh, okay.
They either moved or they just didn't find interest in breaking, or they had other interests. And so I was the only one, and so that's when I created Stance, mainly because if just for business purposes, you wanted to be an actual owner. I wasn't an actual owner of Strife. I just was just helping out at that time.
Yeah. So so you were an employee of Strife, and then I guess you had the vision to create it to where Stance is now, and so you said, okay, well, I need to do this if you guys aren't gonna help me do it.
Exactly.
And then built Stance up, owner, and now you have like couple guys with you, right?
It sucks starting from scratch again with like 0 views and 0 people.
It'll come,
but it came, and you still keep your real life connections. You still keep you're friends with this event organizer, you're friends with all these other b-boys, and then definitely like when we started Stance, a lot of people that filmed with me that I recruited to Strife came along.
Okay,
so that's why we had Matt Tech out in the Bay. He came along too. Anderson out in LA. You have my friends out in the UK.
Okay.
And then I had other friends in Korea. So we covered a great portion of the world scene.
Yeah.
Without me physically have to travel there.
Yeah.
So,
but you still travel a lot.
I still travel quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. But you got a good team that's with you.
We have a good team.
Like,
a good understanding.
Yeah, good understanding. Yeah, to keep this whole vision alive and running. And so, like, I guess, how do you see it expanding? Do you see it expanding more to like getting more employees, going to more countries?
I've been always cautious on expanding, mainly because it's hard to keep quality control.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have the same vision, and then at the same time, you need to have like a certain type of teamwork involved. That's if this whole stance thing wasn't fun in the first place, I wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
The less, so it still has to be fun for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right. And so, yeah, we do expand. We were trying to. I think at this moment we're pretty good filming events around the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we are working on next are just quality stories that you might not hear within not only dance but other dancer interests.
Yeah.
And then as well as other genres that we have a big interest in, such as tricking. Yeah. Yeah. I think the tricking is the next big one.
The next big thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like, with all these new countries coming in, I imagine it gets hard to really juggle that. And so, yeah, it seems like expanding your company to cover all this stuff is like probably on the forefront of like making stance successful. And I guess, training your team to, keep that same quality. And then I guess like figuring out what works with these new things like tricking and stuff. Because I imagine the way you film and cover a B-boy event is probably not how you cover a tricking event. Maybe there's some crossover, but like
there's some
I imagine
crossover.
Like you definitely got to like get involved with the scene to really understand like what's okay, what's not, and then like just go full in and then understand that. I guess maybe it's not such a big task, but I'm just imagining me if I was a videographer, which I'm not. I'm terrible at this kind of thing. But like, I guess I would know breaking because I'm a B-boy and I can like know, okay, I don't want to jump in the middle of the circle and like get in this dude's way. But like tricking, I think I would just freaking go to the back of the room because I ain't trying to get kicked. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I'm sure that that's not the best way to get footage. So it's like figuring out where you got to stand and like, what's not going to mess them up when they're doing their thing. I feel like that's probably core to like what you guys need to do for that.
There's a lot of crossover. It's pretty good. Mainly because though, when we decided Stance to be a movement arts page, it's because we looked at ourselves and we're like, well, we like dance. What else do you like to do? I like to go to a gymnastics gym and mess around and jump around. Okay, let's add that in. What else do you like to do? This person likes to skateboard. Okay, let's add that in. What else do you like to do?
Nice.
And we think, and so everyone has like a different interest where they draw upon different influences. And likewise, like people, trickers and gymnasts, they like to watch dance too.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay.
There's so much crossover between all these different things. I mean, like, for one thing, I think like music production and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it actually crosses over with dance a lot more than people think it does. Like I've started getting into music production a lot. I know Tech has too. And it's just like, I think as dancers, we understand music a lot. And so producing music becomes a lot easier than I think someone who came in cold. And I would think the crossover between a producer coming into dance would probably be the same. I mean, because they obviously understand music to a very high degree. They might not know how to move their body quite the same way, but that's just a matter of training a little bit to figure it out. Just same thing with a b-boy a dancer trying to learn music production. It's like you got to learn some of the music theory and everything. But like once you understand the tools, it's kind of just like get yourself into like a creative flow state and just let it go. Because that's how I've always been. I was a painter a long time ago, And that's like how I would always paint, is I would just kind of like get into the mode of painting. My mom is an artist, so she kind of taught me how to do this. And then once I came into dancing, it was like the same kind of thing. Once I learned like a few fundamental moves, it was just like you get into this creative flow state, and it's just like the same thing really, but you're just using different tools in a way. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I imagine that's the same thing with like filmmaking too. Like that you guys get some kind of creative, you get into some creative groove, and then it just turns into like hours and hours and hours of you like making this really cool project or something.
That's totally editing. That's basically what I've been doing for the entire week.
Editing?
Pretty much.
Yeah. I've edited a few videos in my life and they suck a lot, but it feels the same way.
That's the way to get better. You suck a bunch and then you keep on sucking and just keep doing it.
Yeah. There's some good quotes on that, but I can't remember. But yeah, basically, that's the best way to stop sucking is to keep doing it.
I look at my old videos and I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
But that was a good idea, so I'll take that little bit.
I look at the old podcasts I recorded and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? But I'm like, it's getting me to where I want it to be.
And then you're thinking like, people really watched what I did?
Dude, actually, I haven't even posted a single one because I keep looking back and going, oh man, like I'm starting to figure out how to do podcasting a lot better. And I've been figuring out like how to film better too. And so like now I'm looking at it like, oh, I don't want to release these old ones because like I straight up just didn't give a fuck. I like would walk in. I mean, like I had good equipment, but I would come in. I didn't have like a studio. I mean, I still don't really have a studio. They just have a freaking blank wall with some stuff on it. But like I straight up would just bring my equipment to like a friend's house. They wouldn't have anywhere to put it. So we would like record on the floor. And so it was ghetto as hell. But I'm just like, oh, you know what? That brought me to where it was. And it's not like the conversation wasn't good. I think it was good. It's just like if you don't see any video, you're like, this was cool. Maybe it was done in a real studio, but you see the footage and you're like, oh, he's sitting on the freaking carpet. So, but I don't know. Yeah, humble roots, I guess, is the best way to call it. Mm-hmm. And I guess you guys have your own humble roots as well. So where do you see yourself going next? I mean, like you obviously have a vision of where Stance is going, but like, what other hobbies are you into, and like how does that involve with like the rest of your life, and like where do you see that taking you? I mean, I see you have a League of Legends like key chain.
I love esports. I love esports. Obviously, League of Legends is huge. Overwatch is huge. You know, it's a big scene.
Yeah.
And there's actually crossover between esports and movement arts too.
Yeah, big. I mean, competitive scene. I would think that there's like a lot of crossover in terms of like
in many different things.
How people are reacting to each other or some emotions. Hold on. So esports, I don't know a lot about esports, but it's really intrigued me to see where it is, because it's kind of like, I kind of look at it as like breaking in a way, because like, again, when I started playing video games like Super Smash Brothers when I was like in middle school or whatever, I was like, oh, cool, we're just going to go over to my friend's house and just play or whatever. And now it's like there's legitimate competitions for legitimate money. It's like broadcast, you know, on the internet and stuff.
And it started around the same time.
So it's like the scenes are kind of growing. I think it's really, it comes down to this digital age. I think it's allowing everything to get around to more people, but it's just so cool to see all these new communities of, competitive sports, competitive whatever out there. And something that I never would have thought would happen, or I just don't know anything about, and seeing it.
If you look at our Stance produce live streams with the commentators and the way they talk to people and stuff like that, it comes from esports.
Oh yeah,
I kid you not. It's I look at League of Legends, I look at Street Fighter live streams. I'm like, I want that setup. I want that setup. I like how they're engaging with the audience. then that's where totally our influences come.
Interesting.
You know,
okay.
they look like they have a somewhat similar budget to us. Let's do that.
Interesting.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm influenced by esports a lot, and then I'm also interested in other like you look at other influences of esports. How many dance emojis there are in esports now? Like Fortnite. Everyone's doing this Fortnite move, dude, right?
I actually have a theory that like the kids now that are learning to break, that are young, like elementary school age, are gonna start doing Fortnite moves as actual breaking moves. I think that's
they already do.
Happen. Yeah, they probably already do.
They already do. I filmed a battle 2 years ago, and this guy just flipped up in the air and just landed on his side,
and then did his little floss move or something.
Yeah, I was just like, okay. It was fun. It was fun to see.
Yeah,
but they already do, and it's if it gets them hooked to the scene, then sure.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to see that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of like breaking purists and stuff that go like, oh, it's decreasing the rawness of it. But I think that those are just like old people that are salty or whatever. I think my perspective is that if you think that that's going to degrade its rawness, I think you weren't raw in the first place. I think that you're trying to crap on someone else's parade. This person sees something and now they're invested into the scene. I think that's a good thing. And period, really. Like, I can't see a reason why that would be a bad thing, that some new people are being introduced into the dance.
Every generation, basically every decade or so, there's always like dance related media out there or dance related trends that may seem cheesy at the beginning.
Yeah.
But it gets young kids interested.
Yeah.
I've seen there's stories of like really high competitive dancers that started with You Got Served.
Oh yeah.
And like that movie, if you really saw it, man, that was super cheesy.
It was a cheesy dude.
But they started, and now they are at the top of their scene right now, and they are fucking raw.
Yeah. Beat Street is the cheesiest movie ever. That's a hot take, but battle me. Beat Street is so cheesy. It's a dope movie, sure, but it's cheesy as hell. Breakin and Breakin 2 Electric Boogaloo are also two of the worst movies ever. I mean, cheesy in terms of worst cheesy movies. Even Flashdance, dude, that was probably the first time Breakin was on like a big screen. That movie's cheesy as hell.
But it was a catalyst and got people interested.
It's a catalyst.
Yup. Yeah, so I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I think it's great to see that, and I guess with the oncoming Olympics in 2024, which is in Paris, I believe.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna see it on another stage to a whole new audience. I think we're gonna also see a huge influx of new b-boys as well.
There already is, because of the Olympics.
Yeah,
and
from the Junior Olympics, right?
From the Junior Olympics, like traveling around the USA, just the USA itself. A lot of my friends' dance studios have had an influx of students that just want to learn.
Yeah.
So many little kids are enrolling in their dance studios, and it's great.
Yeah, I think it's great too.
And that's just the USA. Japan is another monster.
Yeah.
Russia is another monster. China especially. I mean, you're just getting kids enrolling everywhere.
Yeah, and these little kids can fly, and I'm just like, dang. You can fly. I didn't even break when, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't start breaking until I was maybe like 14. You got these 10-year-olds that are like flying and stuff. So I'm like, dang, dude, what is breaking going to be like when they are my age? I'm 32. I mean, maybe their body's just going to be broken, but like, I don't know. If they're 10 years old and can do like twice as much as I can do, dang, dude, I don't know. I don't know what to say, but they're going to be crazy.
Yes.
So I think that's exciting to see that. So I guess once the Olympics rolls around in 2024, we're going to see some very high level stuff there. And I get, you know what I'm curious about actually with the Olympics, and I don't know if you would be the person to know this, because you are like on the advisory board or whatever, right? And so I'm curious like how they plan to actually do this. Is it like going to be battles as like we're used to in the breaking community? Is there going to be more like a showcase kind of thing, like a show or something? I know they're doing like a one-on-one kind of situation. And then I guess I'm curious about like how it's being judged, and I don't know. Maybe you have.
So the catalyst of the Olympics is WDSF, World Dance Sport Federation. They're the main dance sport, organizational group around the world,
and they like oversee all the dancing there. So like salsa and
correct, okay. yeah. And luckily they did the Youth Olympics 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Last year they did 2 other events, the WDSF Championship in China, and then you had the World Urban Games out in Budapest. So
okay,
there's already videos online of those events.
Okay,
we covered a couple of them, and it's really just, and they have a judging system. They have, just like any normal dance event, you have like the judges that we're used to. You have the competitors that we're used to. Things like that. You have the DJs and the music that we're used to. So it really isn't any different. It really isn't any different than other breaking events that we have seen.
Okay.
I guess the only only difference is that for me, I feel there's a lot of rounds. It's
okay.
Like, oh my gosh, it was like you have a group stage, and then you have a top 16 to 8, and those dancers were tired. Oh, okay. Those dancers were tired.
So were they doing like 5-round battles every time or something? Or
it was like 2-3 round battles every time, starting from group stages.
I actually missed that because when I first started breaking, that's how it was. It was like you would go a crap ton of rounds, and your rounds wouldn't be like as long as they are now.
Yeah.
And so and battles were just longer. I don't know. And then now it's like you see 1-round battles, which to me feels kind of weird. I don't know. It kind of works, I guess, with what we're doing now. But it still feels weird to me. But I don't know. I think that's cool that they're doing more rounds. But it definitely puts you to the test. I can imagine.
You got to be an athlete. You got to have that stamina.
Yeah, you got to be a gold medal athlete to get that gold medal.
Yeah.
But I guess that comes with the territory.
Yeah, but no, organizationally, all the stuff that you see is online already. Youth Olympics in 2022, going to be in Dakar, Senegal. That'll be another warm up for the Olympics in 2024. Okay. But I think, having Paris be the forefront of this is going to be great.
Yeah, because that's the first time adults will be a part of it, right?
Yep, and most likely they haven't decided yet already, but it's most likely going to be one-on-ones.
Okay.
Just keep it simple. Eventually, I know we want to see crew battles, but for the first time, I feel it's too much. We just start with one-on-ones first.
Yeah. What do you like more, as a side note, crew battles or one-on-one?
Well, hell yeah, I love crew battles.
Dude, I've always loved crew battles. And another hot take is like, I freaking love watching routines. And I know there's so many like purist B-boys that are like, routines suck and stuff. But like, I don't know. I've always loved routines. The crew I used to be a part of is Flexible Flav.
You guys had great routines.
Yeah, dude. We were kind of on the, I don't know, innovators, I guess, of the routine game. And so I don't know. I've always loved doing routines and stuff and just watching new stuff coming. And so I was in Flexible Flav until 2007, I think, is when I stopped. 2008, maybe 2009. I don't know. I don't remember one of those dates. But like before then, it was like we were always making these routines, and like we would see another crew like starting to do the same thing. Once we stopped, or once I got out of the crew, then you started seeing more crews like Jinjo and stuff coming out. At that point, I think Rivers and Gamblers were already like huge on the routine game, and so it's top 9 huge in the routine game. So I don't know. I miss that because you don't see it so much anymore. I think everybody's got mad because all those crews are winning everything.
I love crew battles because like saying for example your crew, you had one of your crew members, associate crew member was Dizzy, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he was not really Flex Flav, but he was like he would enter a lot of battles. Yeah.
He understood the flex flay battle mentality, which is like you're not doing it's like there's a certain way to win. Yeah, right. And whether it's through teamwork or whether it's not the hardest move, it's just how you do it. And that's what made like crew battles so much more intriguing. You have someone do like a crazy move, and the other team will respond with something totally different. And you're like, okay.
Well, the routines. What I always liked about routines was that it was another element to control the battle.
Yeah,
like with one-on-ones, your arsenal is kind of your limitation to controlling the battle. Like you see this guy attack you in a certain way, you can do a lot of things to respond, right? But like with a routine, you can almost like bulldoze them a little bit because they throw something at you. Even if they threw a routine at you, then you turn around and you can go, all right, here's this crazy trick. Boom. Here's another crazy trick. Here's this really cool choreography set. And now, boom, flip over, bam, there's a dude, and he's just going to like do what a normal B-boy would do and like go off and respond to everything that you threw at him. It's just kind of like extra icing on the cake to say that, you know, we're controlling this battle now, you know. And so that's why some of the greatest battles in history, I think, have always been like crew battles where you see something like you'll see one crew really controlling it, then all of a sudden, boom, it's like the tide totally shifts. And I feel like a lot of B-boys maybe felt that routines were like hacks in a way, I guess, to refer to like esports. Like they're using hacks now because it's like it's so effective to draw another crew into your strategy to win. If they can't respond with routines well, and usually crews can't, it's like, oh no, I'm gonna lose now. You know, you got to throw some really crazy thing. You got to have Pocket take every freaking round after that to like really respond. So it's like, I don't know. I definitely think they felt like it was hacks, but
you can tell bad routines.
There's definitely bad routines. You can beat bad routines with a good solo round for sure. But it's hard to beat a really good routine with a solo, and I just think that just goes to show you that like that's how powerful a good routine really is. Mm-hmm. And so I think to embrace it and say, okay, I'm going to use this as part of my strategy is something that I think the whole community was onto something when it was really sparking off. And then when there was this big surge and people like not liking it, I think it kind of killed it a little bit. So, but I'm seeing it happen more. So I'm excited to see maybe like some crew battles in the future with maybe even in the Olympics.
But yeah, I like watching crew battles. This year, you're going to have 5-on-5 freestyle session.
Okay,
so
cool.
Pseudo crew battle.
Yeah.
My personal favorite event to film is Battle Year.
Okay.
I love watching Battle Year.
Do you like it because of the shows?
The shows are cool. I like seeing, my favorite shows actually are seeing countries that don't get a chance to be on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so you get to see the Senegals, you get to see like Madagascar, you get to see countries that aren't normally on the stage see it. Those are fun. And then I like to see, you know, sometimes I like to see the battles where you have a country that you didn't think of make it. You know, last year Venezuela came all. Uh-huh. You're like, Venezuela. Yeah. You know, and 2 years ago it was like Thailand. Uh-huh. You know, like that. Those are fun.
Yeah, whenever I see stuff like that, I'm like, dude, they got breaking over there. And I mean, like, that's kind of an ignorant thing to say, but especially because my brother, Vinsanity, he teaches, he has all his YouTube videos and stuff, and he always shows me like where his videos are being watched, and a lot of them are like in these crazy third world countries I've never heard of, you know, and so, but then seeing them come to like the stage of Battle of the Year, and you're like, oh, these guys are like really good too. That's crazy. So I don't know. What in battle? I haven't really seen a lot of Battle of the Year recently. But do they still do those shows? The cases? Okay, because I always thought that was such an interesting way to like weed out crews to your like top 4. They probably do like top 8 now.
They do top 6 now.
6?
Oh,
how's that work?
The first 2 crews No, get a bye.
Oh, okay.
Get a bye, and then you have 4 wild card
Interesting. So then the wild cards battle each other,
and then they link up with the first place and second place crews.
Tight. Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, that's an
It's
interesting
good though
way to do
because
it. Yeah,
it used to be just top 4.
Yeah,
and they came all that way.
Yeah,
and you want to see more battles.
Yeah, no, there's a story I think of like because the U.S. was banned for a long time for coming because I think one of the crews, I'm not gonna say who it was, but they came and apparently like destroyed like a hotel room because they didn't make it to the battles and thought that they should have, and so then they were like, U.S. is banned, and then I think it took like a good 5 years or something to let the U.S. back in. So, not that they should have done that or anything. Like that's definitely a bad way to act, but now having more ability to make it into these top categories, I think is like nice because really like breaking has expanded so much. You're gonna have so many people entering. I mean, on all these big competitions, I'm always seeing like 400 people entering or something, and it's like, geez, man, that's crazy. I'm used to like 10 people entering, 20 people entering, or whatever.
It's just more and more interest, more and more people interested. Yeah, and you haven't even gone to China yet. Yeah, you got full days, 13 hours of prelims.
Wow,
that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess
that's another topic by itself.
But I went to IBE and they had a whole day of like prelims. I remember, and it took a long freaking time. It wasn't 13 hours, but I feel like it was like 5 or 6 hours or something like that. It was just like kind of insane. It's like a jam in itself,
Yeah.
It's kind of like you got to win this jam out of like 50 people, and they have like a bunch of different groups of that. You got to win that, and then you're going against all these other people that won their group of 50 the next day or whatever. Yeah. That's insane. So, but it's an exciting time, I think, for breaking for sure. Going back to the Olympics, I had another question about it because, like, so you're saying that Olympics is, for the most part, as far as you can see, it's very similar to the events that we are used to. But I'm curious about like the rules that they have in terms of like who can participate, because I know there's like, in other Olympic sports, there's a lot of stuff like doping in the event, in the drugs and stuff, and like I don't know, not to put the breaking scene under the bus, but there's a lot of people that use drugs. And so I'm like, I feel like the Olympic committee would probably be like, what are y'all doing?
You know what? I don't know. I'm not really familiar with drug testing. I don't know much about it, but I would assume there's some kind of requirement. I mean, luckily the Olympics started this year, 2020, and similar sports such as skateboarding will be there for the first time.
Is it really?
Yep, skateboarding, surfing. So
surfing too?
Yep. So just keep your eyes open.
That's exciting.
See what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say that people that skateboard don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, it's prominent in, I imagine, every community in sport, but
snowboarding, like 8 years ago,
for sure.
So just keep your eyes open, see what happens, and basically, like, skateboarding is great because you take a look at what it's going to happen at the Olympics, and you're like, okay, similarly, that's what will happen to breaking in 2024, in terms of media and coverage and things like that.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit scared because, like, I know that the breaking scene kind of needs to be on its best behavior a little bit when that comes around, or else, the Olympics could just be like, oh, these guys are too hard to work with. So, I know that and the reason I'm bringing this up is because, like, I know, like, the stuff that happened with, like, UDEF and how Steve Graham decided to just kind of cancel the whole thing, really. And that was really kind of a decision. I mean, it was a personal decision for him, but a lot of it came from he was getting so much backlash from the community and stuff. And it's just like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Yeah. And unfortunately, he, had to just terminate the whole set of events and I guess really his business. So I don't want that to happen when the Olympics comes around, because I think that'll be just a huge punch to the face of the whole community, because there's so many, I would say like 95% of the community wants to see this, wants to see the community grow, wants to see more people involved, want to see fans, want to see just, I guess, it in the Olympics. It's like an accomplishment to the scene to see that happen. But then the small 5% of people that are like, I'm too raw for this, could easily ruin it for everybody. And so and that's why I was asking the question about drug tests, because I want everybody to have the right information going into it. If they're thinking about competing in it, just be aware that maybe that is going to be something that's involved with it. So if you're a drug addict, get clean, dude. Not just for the Olympics, but for your own health. But yeah, I think the scene being on his best behavior, I think will be the best way to really like prove that we are worth it. Because I think showing the Olympics, not that we need to like prove anything, but I do think that first impressions matter a lot. And this is going to be one of the first impressions. I mean, I guess we saw it with the Junior Olympics, but I imagine, these kids, they have their parents to like, stop acting up.
Yeah.
But we're going to have a lot of adults that
I feel we're pretty good on a big stage. I mean,
yeah, I think so too.
You take a look at big stage events like BC ones. Everyone's on their best behavior.
Yeah.
But,
I've just heard a lot more chatter about the Olympics, because there's just a lot of like people going, oh, it's run by, whatever salsa dance or whatever. And like, I don't know what you're talking about, but it seems to me like it's going to be like any other event. Just, now it's got the backing of a big organization, and it's on a different stage, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's business as usual, I would imagine. Same kind of music, same kind of judges, same kind of thing. Everything you would expect, just different audience maybe,
Correct.
Or a mixture of the new audience and the existing audience. So, I don't know. It's exciting and a little scary, I think. I don't know. I might just be being worried for no reason, but
like I said, just take a look at skateboarding this year.
Yeah.
And that'll be something similar.
Yeah. Okay. I guess skateboarding has been on a large stage for such a long time. I mean, with the X Games and stuff. So I think a lot of people, I mean, in a way, skateboarding is probably 20 to 30 years ahead of in the pop culture aspect as breaking, because it's been on that stage since maybe like the 90s or like maybe mid 80s or something. And at that point, breaking was barely even new, a thing at that point. So, but anyways, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling about that, but it's something that worries me a little bit about it. And I guess also judging, because I've always had a thing about judging, because this is like an art form, and in a way there's a lot of opinion that is involved with a judge's decision of who wins. And I've always been curious how that would play out on a larger stage, or like, when an organization such as the Olympics is backing an event, if they're coming in and going like, okay, well, how do you guys judge this? And they go, oh, we point to the guy we thought we won. And then they go, oh, well, why? And then you go, give me like some quantitative curriculum, or give me some, quantitative reason for why they won. It's really hard to do that, I think. I mean, we can say, okay, it's on a point system. We're giving you this amount of points for this type of move, or this, this particular category. But I think when it starts breaking down, like what you're judging on, it kind of falls apart to where you're just going like, I liked what that dude did over what that dude did. So it bothers me a little bit, because I think if, the Olympics starts like really digging into what that is, like how they would react to that. I don't know if maybe there's other Olympic sports that are judged in a similar way. I mean, figure skating, I was thinking like, because
it's purely numbers, opinion based sometimes.
Yeah, I know, but with figure skating a lot of times is they say, okay, here's our routine that we're doing. And then we have these big moves at this point, this point, this point. So they know what to watch for. And then ultimately they're grading them on how they land those moves. And so they have a point system on that, and then they'll give them another score on like their creativity and like all the dancing and stuff that was involved with that. I think that comes into that score. So there's like a small part of it that's on that kind of subjective scale. And I guess that works. I guess it's also kind of with floor routines for Olympic gymnasts. It's kind of the same thing, but I was trying to see how that relates to breaking. And it was hard for me to figure that out because it's not like you're going up to these judges and saying, hey, I'm going to hit air flare, windmill 90. And they're like, okay, I'll watch for that. You do it, dude. And then you're going to get a creative score for like whatever other thing you're going to do. But, I mean, a lot of it is how you're responding to somebody, right? And in a way, I think it's more like combat sports because you do something to me and I'm going to react to it in a way, right? And then I do something to you and you're going to react to it a way. So to me, it seems like some kind of merge between those two things. And I just I don't know. Judging has always been kind of like on my mind about how, because I think that's probably one of the other hinge points in taking breaking from where it is now to the like, NBA level sport or something, MMA level sport. I think the way we've always judged jams and events now has always worked, and we haven't really questioned it too much. But I think when it moves into, a bigger space where there's like actual casual audience, they're gonna go like, how do I know? How do I judge this myself? You know what I mean? And like with, like UFC fighting, casual fans do understand that, because there's a lot of just criteria that is spelled out on how to make that, how to I guess get your win, right? And breaking, I don't think there is that. Like, because I just imagine if I showed a battle to my mom, who knows barely anything about breaking. I mean, she knows something, but I don't think she could judge a battle. But if I said who wins and it was like close, I don't know if she could probably figure that out, because there's not really a quantitative way to do that. And also, I think there's an argument to be made that there doesn't need to be a quantitative way, because this is, again, an art form. And I do think that when a judge says, I like that's what this guy did in his round more than that, I think that's actually a legitimate way of judging, because again, it's like judging a painting, two paintings that are completely different from each other. You might be like, I like the brush strokes in that, and that shit looks like crap to me. That's why I like that one more. And then someone else could be like, oh, I like, the colors in this and not that one. And that's a legitimate point of view too. So I don't know. The merger between those, I think, is something that's always been in my mind of like where breaking is going to be. And I don't know if there ever will be a solution to that. And I don't imagine you have a solution to it either, but like
judging is so complex.
It's very complex.
I'm just happy I'm just doing video.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone has a different judging format and a judging system.
Definitely. Yeah.
So
yeah, I just figured that maybe the Olympics was going to be more of like a kind of strict on like what they're doing.
Well, I mean, they use the system that originated from Renegade and Storm, and
okay.
So I mean, like I said, look at the Youth Olympics.
Okay,
that judging system will be.
I don't know if I'm familiar with that.
And they're still in play. It's a lot of numbers. It's a slider based system.
Oh, I'll have to look into that.
Yep.
You said that was from Renegade and Storm.
Renegade, Storm. There's a couple other people that involved with. I would say Neek from Ruggeds.
Okay.
Would be helping out. But if you look in the Youth Olympics, if you look at the WDSF championship from last year in China, they all use it. So it's still, I mean, I would assume within 4 years or so, by 2024, they would have a more firm. Yeah,
defined.
And there's a big handbook to it too.
A big handbook?
Yes,
okay.
Everyone has to be briefed.
How do you get a handbook? I kind of want to read it.
It is online, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. Let me write that down. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Yeah, because that's something that I've been like really talking to so many people about, and it's kind of something that we all are kind of like stuck on, and I imagine everybody's stuck on it. But like at least seeing where we're at now, and maybe building on that, because I know Dizzy has his system, which I think is a good start. My issue with his system was always that like, and for people who don't know, there's like 5 categories, and you have one judge for each of those categories. I think that's like a pretty good start. My problem was always that you kind of have this one, monarch of that particular thing, that particular category. But ultimately, I think all 5 of those judges probably have something good to say about that category. So I imagine maybe that's how Storm and Renegade's system maybe factors more into like every judge is maybe judging on each of those categories, right? Okay. Yeah, because I think that would probably be a little bit fairer way of doing it, or at least like more of a majority rule type of way of doing it. This I had this one idea a long time ago, and it was to just have like 20 judges. And hear me out, because I know it sounds crazy.
How do you afford 20 judges?
I don't know. You can't afford it. I don't know. Let them. I don't know. Yeah, but because Breakin kind of started as like, a combat between 2 dancers in a circle with a crowd, and usually you were trying to like burn the other guy in front of this crowd to get a response from the crowd. So in a way, the crowd is already the judge from the very beginning of what Breaking was. So it kind of makes sense a lot now that we're in this more well-defined competitive world, that maybe it makes sense to just have a crowd of judges, right? 20 people standing around the circle or whatever, and they are judging as if they were a crowd member. But instead of it just being like your mom and your grandma or whatever around in the circle, it's like Storm and Renegade or whoever, all these other well-versed dancers and people who've been in the scene for a long time, knowledgeable people in that crowd. So I don't know. That was just a weird idea I was throwing out. And then kind of like you're just saying, okay, well, the majority of these people said this guy won. Okay, maybe that's the way to do it. Then, it at least like gets rid of the argument a little bit where they go, oh yeah, this was only 3 panel judge and those 2 judges don't like me or something. I don't know. That's always bothered me when people say that. It's like, I think you're just complaining. But, well, anyways, I think we've been going for about an hour. I want to probably close the show out. So in closing, like, do you have any other hobbies outside of hip hop? And how does that like kind of go into your life? And
I mean, like I said already, I love esports.
You love esports, yeah.
I a lot of my hobbies I draw in. I draw insight into what I do. So I take a little bit of what I see in esports and throw into stance coverages. I travel a lot. I make a lot of travel videos. Apart from working, with stance and stuff like that, I do freelance travel videos. I work with hotels. I work with travel companies, tourism bureaus. And we create, commercials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, for example, I just got back from Mexico.
Okay.
And I was there to cover an event for a week, and then I stayed an extra week just to travel around and film travel videos.
Okay, that's awesome.
So, things like that I draw interest in.
Yeah. I heard you're also filming Ace's wedding.
Yes, I do the occasional wedding.
Yeah.
When I first moved here to LA, I filmed a lot of weddings, and so yes, I do weddings, and I actually learned how to do weddings from a B-boy from the Bay by the name of Natron.
Oh yeah, Natron. Yeah,
Natron does a lot of weddings.
Yeah, he's got a whole
wedding
business
company.
with a couple other guys from
His
Headhunters.
cousin Jardy. Is that his brother?
Jardy. I don't remember. I think it's his cousin. But
When I started filming weddings for the first time, I messaged Natron. It's like, hey, show me one of your wedding videos, and I'm gonna copy this exactly because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Dude,
he was like, go for it.
His wedding videos are really dope.
His wedding videos are good, and you know what? In terms, filming weddings have helped me film breaking events too.
Yeah.
Because it made me understand like when to anticipate moments.
Oh yeah,
Certain important moments, whether they're doing something or they're talking something.
Oh yeah,
or something is about to happen. Like you can anticipate it.
Yeah, it's like you gotta read the whole room and know like what's about to happen.
Correct.
And you gotta be in the spot where you're like, I guess you're invisible in the sense that you're not ruining the moment, but you're also in the best spot to capture it.
Yes.
Yeah. I imagine there's an art form to that.
Perfect. Exactly. You said it just right.
Yeah.
So it has helped me. So just filming so many types of variety of things help me in filming, stance.
Yeah. Well, tight, dude.
Yeah.
Well, great. I think that was dope. I think that was learned a lot from you and like what you're all about. So I think that's been great. Do you have any last minute shout outs while I close this show out?
Thank you, Kurt, for having me on.
Yeah.
So
yeah, thank you for coming, dude.
Yes.
I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get this podcast out very soon, so I'll let you know when I do that. But,
yes.
And then it'd be great to have you on again. I'm trying to maybe figure out a way to get like multiple people in a podcast.
Yeah, we have so many. More than happy to cover on a variety of topics.
Yeah,
I know. Later in April, I'm going to an event in Toronto, and I'm giving a little mini workshop there on social media. Basically like how to get views, what's exactly the algorithm or how you quote unquote things like that. Like the promoter Jeff, he's a good friend of mine. He's like, Dan, I want you to give you a talk and have people have an insight on how to create a brand and how to do this. I was all right, let's do it.
I need to go to that. I need to, because I don't know crap about social media. Like I actually just freaking don't use social media really.
Yeah.
And so like now that I'm starting this podcast, I'm like, oh, I guess I got to learn how to do that. My brother's pretty good at it, so I can learn some stuff from him, but I could definitely use the help on that. So maybe I'll be hitting you up. Well, thank you for joining me today, and thank you guys for listening. Sorry this show sucks.